Okay, so this is the second video about slope-intercept form from the study guide, all graphing lines. So we're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form. Remember, that means y equals mx plus b. And we're going to be given the points -4, 6, and 2, 3. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to find our slope. Should do that maybe in blue. So change of y over change of x. So my y is going from 6 to 3. So it's going down 3. And my x is going from -4 to 2, which means it's going up 6. So it's going to be -1/2 is your slope. So now your equation is y equals -1/2 x plus b. Then we're going to plug in one of our points. Let's pick this one because it's positive, but it doesn't matter. We'll plug in the 2 for x, the 3 for y. So it's going to be 3 equals -1/2 times 2 plus b, which is 3 equals -1 plus b, so b is equal to 4. So then your whole equation for the entire line will be y equals -1/2 x plus 4. And those ones definitely take a while. The good news is this next one doesn't take much long at all. All right, write an equation that's a vertical line that passes through the point. Remember, vertical is, you want to keep in mind with these kind of special cases, the Hoy Vux can be helpful for remembering which is which without having to really sit down and think about what that line looks like in the graph. You can definitely always go back to that. But for this one, you want to think horizontal 0 slope y equals and vertical undefined slope x equals. So if it says vertical, I know the slope's going to be undefined. But when I write my equation, the equation is going to be x equals. So in this case, the x value is -2. So that's what your equation would be. All of your x's are -2. For the horizontal line, it's going to be 0 slope y equals, and we're going to pick the y value, which is -1. Okay, write the equation of line slope intercept form that passes through the given point. This one I told you not to do. The slope and everything is kind of messed up. Write the slope of a line that's parallel. If they're parallel, they have the exact same slope, -4. Perpendicular, the slopes are opposite. So instead of it being a -4, now it's going to be a +4. And reciprocal. So it used to be -4 over 1. Now it's going to be a +1/4 for the perpendicular part of it. All right, are the graphs parallel, perpendicular, or neither? You cannot compare them until they're both in y equals. So right now, this one is in y equals, and my slope is 3. This one I have to solve for y first. So then I have to divide everything by -6, and I get y equals -1/2 x minus 3. So this one, the slope is -1/2. There's nothing in common. If that was -1/3, then they would be perpendicular, but it's just neither. They're just intersecting lines. They don't intersect at a right angle. Write the equation of a line that is parallel to the given line and passes through the given point. So if they're parallel, that means the slopes are going to be the same. So it's still going to be y equals -2/3 x. But we don't know what the b is, so we'll leave that blank. Then we go ahead and substitute in the point that they give us. So that's going to be -4. -2/3 times 3, -6 divided by 2, which is -2. Add 2 to both sides, and you get -2 is b. So your whole equation would be y equals -2/3 x minus 2 for that one. Okay, and then of course there's going to be one where it's perpendicular to the given line. So perpendicular does not have the same slope. Slope of 4 is 3, but we want to go ahead and make it the opposite, so it's going to be positive. Instead of -3, it's going to be +3, and then we're also going to make it the reciprocal, so it's going to be a +1/3. And this one I also told you to change the problem around, the order pair, I mean. So now we're going to take the ordered pair and we can plug in to find what our y-intercept would be. When you go back to rewrite this one, it's important that you use the new slope and not the old slope. So let's see, -1 equals 1/3 times -6 plus b. Add 2 to both sides and you get 1. So the whole equation, we want to use the slope, 1/3, and then the y-intercept, which is 1. All right, the last question on this study guide is, which equations match the graph below? So there's going to be a couple because there's a lot of different forms on here. Point slope, standard form, and slope-intercept. The slope-intercepts are the easiest, so I'm going to look at A and E first because they're already in y equals. So that one, you're going to start at 2, and I'm going up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. So that means A is out, and this is the right slope for for slope-intercept form. For B, you could either find your intercepts or you could solve for y. The problem is that the x-intercept is like kind of in between -1 and -2, so it might be a little bit easier to solve for y. So I'm going to do that. So first I'm going to add 3x to both sides. So I get 2y equals, I'm just going to show it on here, 3x plus 4. And then I'm going to divide everything by 2. So I get y equals 3/2 x plus 2, which is the same line as this one. These are definitely matching. Okay, I'll just like highlight them. And then the second one, C, would be, if I distribute first, I get y minus 2 equals 3/2 x minus 7.5. And then if I add 2 to both sides, I get 3/2 x minus 5.5, which is not it. Standard form for D, if I minus 2x, I get -3y equals -2x plus 4. And then like I'm going to get 2/3 and a fraction. That's out. So the last one, 3/2 x, and then 3 times -2 is -6, divided by 2 is -3. Then if I add 5 to both sides, I get y equals 3/2 x plus 2. So that is also an answer choice right there. There we go. So that's kind of how you do that. It takes a while because you're essentially kind of checking a bunch of problems at one time. Move that out of the way. Okay, all right, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully it was helpful.